This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to be here helping you with learning to play the guitar. This is a Technique Tuesday lesson. So on Tuesdays we have videos that come out with little tidbits on technique. In this Technique Tuesday lesson, I'm going over the strumming technique. So we'll just dive right in with that. So we're going to be using just a basic down, up, 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 down, up strumming pattern to discuss this so we can talk through the technique of strumming. So the first thing is that the strumming motion is actually the same as the waving motion. So when you're waving hi to a friend, kind of like this, that's the same as the strumming technique. We're just sort of waving to the guitar, waving towards our stomach. The most important thing with technique on the guitar usually is to make sure that we don't have any tension. So how our arm comes around and connects with the guitar is an important thing. It's important, for example, that our shoulder not be tight up in the air. If our shoulder is up in the air, we're creating tension there, which can then create injury. Just tightening up of those muscles, tightening up the tendons, tightening up the ligaments, not good. Injury comes from that. So our shoulders should be relaxed. However we're coming to the guitar, our shoulders should be relaxed. And then our arm just comes around naturally. So as it comes around naturally, it's coming around in a natural state where my shoulder can be relaxed, my arms relaxed, and around to my elbows relaxed. Usually for me, with this kind of a guitar, just an acoustic guitar, most guitars, it's slightly different depending on how thick the body is usually or how big the body is. It can change exactly where my arm is positioned. But as I come around, it's usually going to be a little bit below the elbow, or right in that joint. So just a little bit below or in that joint. It's kind of depend. The strumming motion then comes from the elbow, just like our waving motion does, waving towards the guitar. There is a little bit of a break in the wrist. We don't have to keep the wrist tight. There's a little bit of a natural break, a little bit of a give to that wrist. Now if I'm strumming with my thumb up and down, it would look like this, nice and relaxed. My hands relaxed. Or I could strum with the back of my fingers and the back of my thumb, down, up. I usually, when I'm strumming, unless I'm doing strumming intermixed with like finger picking or something and don't have a pick in my hand, I use a pick. When we use that pick, we hold on. It's important that the fingers be curled under and just that we naturally hold that pick. So we curl our fingers, put our thumb and index finger together, and the pick kind of just goes in there gently. Now, if we grip the pick really tight, that creates tension. We don't want tension. We need our hand to be relaxed, just like it is when we're waving to our friends. So when we're holding the pick, we hold it tight enough that it doesn't just go falling out, but it's pretty loose. I have no tension personally. As I'm holding onto that pick, it's just sitting there. As we get started when we're playing guitar, a lot of times it's new, so we tighten up, but as we learn to play, we need to loosen, and that's why even this lesson is great for those of you who've been playing for a long time, because these basic techniques that are easy for us help us learn to play in a relaxed state, which actually increases our ability to play things that are more difficult for us. So I'm holding that, and what I need to make sure is that my fingers aren't flexed out. As soon as I flex my fingers, there's tension that goes through my hand and my wrist. So I'm not doing that. They're just tucked under, nice and relaxed. And then I just go down and up, brushing those strings with that pick. And it's as simple as that. Over here, my left hand, by the way, I'm just lightly touching the strings. So I'm not pushing them down or anything. I'm just touching them. Creates a nice percussive sound, so I can just worry about my right hand. Okay, so with this down-up strumming pattern, where we're just working this down-up motion, of course we could do just down strums. We could do just up strums. We have to go down to go up, and we have to come up to go down. So probably the most basic place to get used to strumming for almost all the strumming patterns we're going to run into is just this basic down-up motion. The slower the tempo goes, the wider my strumming is, and the more it's in the elbow. The faster we go, the more it gets in the wrist, and the tighter that pattern goes. So you can practice this at different tempos, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and or a little bit faster, or faster, or faster. Now the key as I go faster is that I have to stay relaxed. So if I learn this at a really slow tempo and can teach myself to be relaxed, keep the muscles relaxed, keep them from flexing, then I can stay relaxed as I get faster. There are two ways that we can do these eighth note based patterns. One is with what we call straight eighths or even eighths, where the eighth notes, the strumming directions, get the exact same amount of time. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If I was in 3/4 time, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. We can also do them in a swung fashion. That means we're going to delay the up strum a little bit and give the down strums, which are on the beat, we're going to give them more time, at least 2/3 of the beat. So it'd be like down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Getting used to both is important. Depending on the song, depending on the music that we're playing at a given time, we'll be using one way or the other. So we tend to have things that are swung at various degrees. We can really delay sometimes how far those up strums are in the beat, so they're almost right on the beat, or we can have them be a little bit closer to us, almost like tripletized, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So there's songs where we'll be in that swung fashion. There's times where we've got the even eighth notes. Now, it's really great to practice this with a chord progression. I've got up here on the board G, E minor, C, and D. So I'm going to go ahead and play through this strumming at various tempos. You can play right along with me and work these at various tempos. I love going to a basic chord progression. This is one of the most fundamental chord progressions. I start all my beginning students, all the beginning classes I've taught with the thousands of students. This is a great progression to start on because it sounds so great. It's used in a lot of different songs, and these are some of the best chords to get started with as we're learning. So when we're working on a technique or trying to make our technique be better, it's nice to do things that are simple for us. Or if you're just brand new and getting started, this is a great place to start right here. This is one of the best places to start with learning to play chords. So if we start this nice and slow, and we did one measure of time per chord, so like G, E minor, C, and D, you can do it just like that. Now at that nice tempo, let's start out with even eighth notes. I was just doing swung. We go 1, 2, ready, and we have G, E minor, C, and D. Repeat G, E minor, and C, and D, and G. Practice it at that tempo as much as you need to. Let's try pushing it really slow. So we're going to 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Notice how the strumming in the right hand gets wider. Much larger strumming strokes. You can practice it even slower. Practicing with a metronome can help as you get slower, so you can keep the tempo at that slow tempo, at a slower tempo. As we get faster, it's easier to keep something sustain it at the tempo that we're at. So we get slower, it's harder to sustain the slow tempo. So you can use a metronome to help you with that, or with any of these. You can even put it on there to keep that strumming nice and even. Now let's do it a little bit faster than we were doing it even the time before. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, ready, and we got G, E minor, C, and D, G, E minor, C, and D, G, E minor, super fast or faster. 1, 2, ready, and I'm going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So 1 and 2 and ready, and. You gotta keep relaxed in the right hand. Notice how tight the strumming pattern gets. It's all in the wrist, almost entirely. You can build up to that tempo. When I've built up speed, sometimes I'll start at a nice medium tempo. I'll push it as low as I can do it and staying relaxed. Then bring it back to the medium tempo and then push it as fast as I can get it. So we push the extremes of our technique. The slower we go, we develop more control, lots of time to think about breathing, lots of time to stay relaxed, and we push it faster. Now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate these with the swung eighth notes now, starting with just nice and slow. So you go 1, 2, ready, and we got G, E minor, C, and D, G, E minor, C, and D. Take it slow. It's like 1, 2, ready, and. C, and D, E minor, C, and D. Take it faster. 1, 2, ready, and. Faster. 1, 2, ready, and. Okay. Now this might seem super simple. Of course, there's times where we do a strumming pattern that's just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up like that. But this is the foundational movement in our strumming. So anything that we're doing, way more complex or even just simple quarter notes, whatever it is, all of those play into this exact technique. So I don't do it very often. I've got other things that I use, but this is a great warm-up if you've been playing for a long time, just to take a few minutes, warm up this way, make sure that we're getting relaxed, staying relaxed. As we do, solidify the technique in our right hand, then it will help us with all the strumming that we're doing, all the playing that we do on the guitar. So super fun. Okay, I hope to see you in future lessons. On Tuesdays, we've got these technique tidbits that come out. On Thursdays, Theory Thursday, there's videos that come out about the fretboard theory. So theory, of course, ties in with technique, but I get a little bit more analytical on understanding the fretboard. So we've got that. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we've got new lessons that come out with mini courses. At the very time of this video is being shot, the mini course that's running right now is on flat picking. So super fun. But there's always progressive lessons on Saturday coming out as part of a current mini course. And of course, there's hundreds of lessons on the channel, so you can check out lots of other things. Take care, have fun, and we'll see you again. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.